what your choices have been, and what karmic timelines and contracts you have journeyed. The light is calling for the reunification of all aspects of life in this realm now. It is calling for the cleansing of all polarities. It is calling for the rising of all sacred heart centers now. All are being summoned home to the greater light now.
Hi, and welcome everyone to Whole Soul Mastery and Whole Soul School and Foundation's joint podcast today, where we are talking with Dr. Terry Cole-Whittaker about her amazing 8 steps to spiritual and earthly riches. Yet, as we have seen in the past 6 podcasts about this topic, spiritual and earthly riches are both expansive concepts requiring bigger picture vision, and also simple concepts that form the foundation of a beautiful, divine, abundant, and sovereign life. My name is Marie Mohler, and I'm an author, intuitive, and messenger of our powerful journeys that we engage to live our whole soul mastery, our experience of wholeness, and the greatness of authentic self-expression. And I am back again with Dr. Terry in this podcast today, where we're going to delve deeper into the 7th step of the 8 steps to spiritual and earthly riches. So I want to welcome you, Dr. Terry. Thank you for joining me again today.
Oh, such a pleasure, Marie. And to everybody listening, you're wonderful. You're the best people in the world because you're hanging out with us, and we're giving you the best we know. Absolutely. Up to the minute.
That's right. That's right. The current best, the best of the best that we've got, we're sharing.
Yeah.
And just to review, because there's 8 steps, and some people might be joining on this podcast and not know what the other steps are. Steps 1 through 6 that we have podcasts that people can go in the archives on these channels. But step 1 is the ask. You have to ask.
You have
Step
to ask.
2 is appreciating what you already have. That gratitude and that appreciation moves mountains. 3 is being willing to have what you ask for. 4 is making a prosperity action plan. 5 is making prosperous choices. And the last one we did was number 6 was building prosperity consciousness. And so we're going to be talking today about, I love this one, Terry, relentless enthusiasm. Relentless enthusiasm.
Yes. Yes. And what's so cool about enthusiasm, because is the word enthuse is in theos, like Greek, I guess, means within God. Because it's different than excitement. Excitement always brings depression because when you're playing with the duality, which is here, you have to understand this. You're not duality, but this is a duality game situation with plus and minus. It's like a seesaw for a child in the park where one person goes up, the other person goes down. I mean, for every positive, there's a negative, just like people's karma will always happen. That's what's happened to a lot of people in the world right now. They don't realize, why is this happening to me? Well, because whatever we have done to animals or humans or caused any kind of suffering to we're going to have to experience that so that we gain the compassion to know before we do things what the ramification's going to be. So this enthusiasm then is something that you have regardless of what's going on. Regardless if it looks like everything's falling down, you don't go, oh God, this is terrible. Hey, I wonder what I know it sounds weird, but what God's got going on here. You see, instead of always reacting to everything going on, and then you're jerked around, you're high in 1 minute, low in the next. Someone calls you, invites you out to lunch, you're thrilled, you get ready, you get all dressed, and then you get the call, I'm not showing up, or they never show up. You never know. Fell off it. I never knew. Now you're depressed. Now what happened? They don't like. So you have to look at what is the mind. Well, first of all, the basic is to understand how the mind functions and how it operates on words. And we're given these definitions and these meanings. So what we're doing is our emotions are being jerked around every time we react to a word, to a sentence, to whether it's a movie, it's a song, it's triggering your feelings, but it's also triggering your emotions. And feelings and emotions are different. You see, you're looking at nuances. You're looking at moods. You're looking at feelings. And when you see so many people have so much trauma that they're inside of lifetimes of struggles and sort of things. So it's also people are exhausted from continuing to reincarnate to keep producing the system in a sense. And it keeps falling further and further into ignorance, because it's like if you make a so-called clone of a plant, it's really a cutting. And if you don't plant the seed, a seed has to have a root, and it'll have a tap root. But when people do cuttings, there's no tap root. So you can't, and so every time you do a cutting of a cutting, that every time you do a copy of a copy, every time you do a picture of a picture, what do you do? What do you
Wow, you diffuse the beautiful blueprint.
Yeah, but the copies get less all the time. They're never accurate. They're not ever whole. They are never the authentic, because yes. So each time, then they find that in everything. Like Michael works on the sound like this. He's really doing a lot of studies on the sound and working on that, and how the most important, if you're going to record sound, is when you first get it from the microphone, because that's going to be the very best you have to deal with. So after that, anytime you start changing it, if you take in another microphone with this one, now they're going to have these things that are going, that they may not go together. I mean, everything's like that. Everything follows patterns. Everything. And when you see it, and everything here, why does everybody take a selfie? Because they're a copy. Copies make copies. You see when people are fanatic about something, why? It's in the program. Because it's always, everything's in the copy. This is replica. This is the replicant area. And because the mind cannot come up with anything original, and because this is a mental realm, and in the mind, it's a simulation. And one of the things that's interesting about insects, if anybody wants to study them, they're amazing simulators. And oh yeah. They also are telepathic. So like if you ever you're going to go after the spider, you pretend you're going somewhere else, because you've got to not let him know you're thinking, because he's gone.
Right. I ask him to jump in my cup, and I swear they do, because they know. Yeah, I'll put out a cup and say, if you want to live, jump in. Right.
Oh my God, that's good. And I say, make my day. I don't like spiders anymore, because that brown recluse spider bit me in the leg, and I'd been really nice to spiders. It takes a lot. So I don't know.
I know. We all make our peace with how we deal with these creatures. But you know what you also said reminds me something, because early on when I was connecting with my guides, and I have a Native American guide, and he came through one time, and I remember he was talking to me about, we were talking about pictures of the kids, you're talking about copies of a copy, and I think I was trying to record, what I was hearing him say, and so we were talking about the gadget, the device that I had, and he was saying back in his day when he incarnated on the planet, he said we didn't need things like that. He said we had better memories.
Oh, because there was like a tree. They would have like a telephone tree. You go talk to the tree, and the other person would get the message.
Right. Nature has a better system. Like it has a better memory, if you will, or communication. And we try to replicate it as a humanity with devices, but those are still copies of copies, like what you're saying.
Well, the device, we already have the ability. As soon as the device is made, people pass their power of God to the device. And now they think they can't live without the device. It's a device. It's vice. DE is always the devil, is demoniac. It's always not. Just like, remember I mentioned the other day, I don't know if you mentioned it, when I was meditating and I was talking to the divine, I said, well, why is it that the Ten Commandments says thou shalt not kill, not do these things? And why is there, everything here is blood and killing of humans and animals? Slaughter is huge. People have no idea. Anything. Furniture, the seats of your car, all of this stuff is crazy. There's so much. I know.
Yeah, we're learning that again. This is part of the correction. I think there's a divine correction happening on the planet.
It's a correction. Yes.
It's a correction.
Yes. Because it's wrong. You can't live. We can't. And what happens is, thou shalt not kill. The subconscious does not pick up not. This is very common, basic psychology.
Right.
And when you're working with the subconscious, because that's when you know how to get the knowledge and information within your system, plus you tune into cosmic, and then you've got divine, and the God, I don't know, but the God presence is only known by the soul. The mind can't comprehend that, because the soul is based on feeling. It's who we are. We are a soul. We're not the mind. We are consciousness. Consciousness is part of who we are, and all that we are is we're really tiny. Like, say if you had we were like a grain of rice within a whole world full of rice. The whole thing was packed. You're just one little grain, because there's a bazillion of us everywhere. They say that, oh my gosh, there's 8,400,000 different species of critters, of life forms. And then you've got 400,000, this is Vedic teaching, 400,000 are humanoids, of different kinds of humanoids, and that have our same stuff, but different, that are out there. And then most always is human. And ask the outer space, there's no outer space, it's all oxygen. Some of those pictures they took of the people when they were doing the fakey moon landing photos and stuff, they didn't have hoods on or nothing, because, well, they're standing out there in these other places. But yeah, it's not what people tell you, because when they're telling you with images and pictures and technology, and they're trying to tell you the way it is, they're not telling you the way it is, because all you have to do is observe and plant a garden, a seed in the garden, take care of it and watch it grow. You know how this place works.
It's true. It's like it's like they need a teacher to tell them how a plant grows from a seed. But if you just get the seed and you grow it yourself, you'll be the observer who knows how the seed grows.
That's right. But we don't know how to do it. You don't know how to do it. You can put the soil in, but the earth is magic. That turns that thing into plants with food.
Right.
And
that's
trees.
Where the magic is, right?
Oh my God,
that's that essence that animates us into the enthusiasm. I like how you distinguish between enthusiasm and an excitement, because I hadn't ever made that distinguished that before, because I think about getting excited, but I hadn't thought about that excitement. There's a rising energy, and then there's the crash, or there's the coming down from. But you're saying enthusiasm. Talk about that just a little bit more. Enthusiasm.
Yeah. Okay. What's important about this is it's all about attitude too. You know that. You know how like thoughts have weight. So if someone says something and they've disappointed you, you feel down. Now you feel hurt. And take a look at where you feel that. It's in your chest, because that's your heart generator. That's where you inhabit, or don't really inhabit the body. It looks like that. You're outside the body and also appear to be inside. I mean, this is how it works. And so the enthusiasm then is, this is when you look at your purpose and mission. And I had to look at this the other day too, because different things were kind of working out. I thought a couple things would, but they didn't, because I'm supposed to be exactly right where I am and doing exactly right what I am doing.
Right.
But thinking, I should maybe do this or do that a little bit late. But what I realized was, because I am surrendered into the divine, my source, because I have worked for lifetimes the other way, trying to do it myself and making it up. And then that's what reincarnation is. You've got more ideas that you didn't complete yet. I've completed all mine. But what it is I'm at that point too, that I realize what my mission is. I know that it's been given to me now in a few different times now, revelations within, and awesome. And it's like, okay. And so now I'm doing that. It doesn't matter where I am. I could be in a tent by the side of the road with a lot of folks, or I could be in a palace. I could be I'm not going to serve, please, I'm not going to be, but I've been everywhere also. But what it is has sustained me is my enthusiasm to know about God, to serve God, to help other people, to find out who I am, to really get to how you manifest, to get to who you are and what's possible after you leave this world. How did this all get created? Where did it come from? Who are we and what's possible? I want it all, you see. And I've had that other world in all the materialism, and I knew what was missing. That's metaphysics. Metaphysics only studies objects with no feelings. We're feeling. And in the Veda says we have a body, and then that some of it will say, well, the spiritual world is opposite from the material, so the spiritual has no form. That's not true. Forms are everywhere. And our form of our soul is a feeling body. And I have seen mine. Somehow these things have been revealed to me, not just by a thought, an actual direct experience of their being there right now with everything like that. I have all this. I've been I've been in Brahman. I was a high level Buddhist. Buddhism, I know, has some nice values, but it's basically spiritual suicide because it gets down to you don't exist. You always exist. You always exist. And when you sleep at night, when you go into deep sleep, you don't remember. You say, well, you were disconnected. No, you wake up and say, gee, I had a nice rest. How'd you know you had a nice rest? Because you were there. You didn't leave.
Wow.
Say, come on.
Wow. It's so powerful. And, just like what you said, people who identify as Buddhist or Christian or Jewish or whatever, there have always been some aspects of goodness and the bigger picture in those things, which is why many people practice those faiths and those religions. But there's a common thread in all of them that's where the truth is, right? And I think that's the truth.
There is truth, but there's two different schools. That's the truth. Absolute truth is you and me and God. That's it. All material things are not truth. What are they? They're things. They're digitals. They're made of wood. They're made of plastic, or you make it of, or the tree grows and it's going to die. And that's not you. This is the world. This is the creation. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The Word became God, whoever was the person that did that. And then the guy that said in the beginning, said, oh, there was light and there was light. Then someone knew there was light to even speak light into reality. Because it came from soul, came from spirit, came from who we are. This is who we are. When you have enthusiasm, it's like, I'm not going to stop my purpose and my mission. I'm not going to change because I know what I've got. And I'm happy and I'm joyful and I'm loving. I have more love in my life than ever. I have wisdom. I have all this. It came from this knowledge that's there that anybody can have if they want to study it. But very few people go beyond their little niche, and then they can memorize it. And then when you say something more, you challenge it. You say, but they don't do their work. They don't actually know the truth of things because it's always thought forms. It's always beliefs. I went to a metaphysical church to speak once, and it was like these are people could talk and say things. They didn't even know what they're talking. Nobody was home.
Nobody was home.
It was like empty. It was like empty. And there was no connection. There was no, because these people, it's like, you whatever it may be, whether it's any religion, any group, and you make a little bit of progress and then sit down and set up camp there when everything good was just over the hill, but you feel okay now, and you've got, your fudgesicle for dinner, and you've got your games to play, and you've got a few little things. You don't have a clue, buddy. you're an eternal being, and you're going to keep reincarnating into a system you're producing that is a jail. And once you absolutely, when you see what's going on in this, that's not natural. That's not who we are. We have to take it, like you said, we have to go back. We have to take back who we are.
Yes.
And so first thing, then you have to commit to your God within, your source. When people say, "Oh, I don't like masters," well, I'm a teacher. That's what a teacher is. I learned from teachers. I when I wanted to become an opera singer, and I just opened to that and to the divine, because I wanted to experience the fullness of my voice, and so I said yes. And who comes along with my friend? Student, and those are my good friend Barbara. She's a singer. Oh, go to the maestro. Oh my God, the greatest voice teacher in the world. Same system learned by Caruso, Beniamino Gigli, all of them, Maria Callas, and the great singers. And I developed by studying with the maestro. He said, well, if I just studied in a book, yeah, but when you just study in the book, you don't get anything. Because he hears me, he knows, and I'm hanging out with him. Then when I went with my teacher in India, side by side, taking care of cows and being there, I know how he thinks, I know how he moves, I know what he does, and I know his consciousness. You see, because you pick it up, because you hang out with the best.
This is also like The Apprentice. It's like what we used to have. People would be mentored by the people who had the best skills that they wanted to learn. But it was a personal. And it was a personal connection, though, too. Like your soul connected with their soul in the learning.
That's it. Personal. Yes. Personal. People say, well, I don't need that. But we're a person. And people don't get that God has personal qualities. But where do you get your personal qualities if you didn't get it from the source? Where did you get it? Was it like a bunch of straw in the corner of the barn and all of a sudden you walked by and you had feelings? I don't think so. It's inherent. See, everything is already inherent in us, but people can't get this. They want to keep working up levels. They want to keep going. Okay, no, I'm going to get that. And then in the next lifetime, and then in this one. Well, if you haven't finished, you're gonna keep wanting stuff, because as soon as you want something from here, you will produce it again to get that. I don't care what it is. And then when you get it, you go, it's just like a yard sale. It'll be thrown on the yard sale the next week. You sacrificed your whole life for that. Come on.
Well, and I think what you're saying is also, because it's the present moment where it's at. Because when you have enthusiasm in the moment, you're in the bliss of you.
Yes.
Being a channel of that energy. Yeah.
Yes.
Right. And a lot of people are caught in the past, or they're looking to the future. But we know a lot of people talk about this in meditation or be here now. And I think that is a beautiful state of being when you're in your enthusiasm. You even say, let me see what you say in your article. You said to be enthusiastic means being relentlessly optimistic and happy, having nothing to do with what is happening out there somewhere, because you're the only God particle that you have control of and the one who is forever experiencing. That's it. That's the feeling that I could live a whole lifetime in that feeling.
Yes, because guess what? The now is you. See, people say, oh, I'm in the now doesn't exist. It's always you. See, people don't get the absolute. There's only you, me, and source. We're all that is. All the rest is image. All the rest is projection. But the spiritual world is different from this in that it's our home. We're not nothing. See, every philosophy and teaching is about how to get rid of suffering. They can talk about it, they tell about it, but they don't really ever know how to get rid of it. And that was the thing. I had not, when I was at the top of the game and my television ministry was big, because I quit at the top, because up there I had attained everything from this little, divorced housewife with two little girls to take care of, with a very nasty former husband, wouldn't give a penny, nothing, or any help, and mean, just nasty. Even things I hear today, I think what he would say to me would come still to my mind. But I'm grateful, because it took me to a metaphysical church. That was a step for me. It's a step. You see, but people do. They think it's. And what happens is people are getting partial truths. They get the truth. They say there's no absolute, which means you don't exist. And then somebody will tell you, well, fear is the opposite of love. Love has no opposite. Fear is a concoction. You don't. Opposites need each other to exist. So they're saying that the love needs fear to exist. That's not true. We are love. Love is that's what one of my student friends, Elizabeth Alanis, and her website was Love into Wholeness, and she did the Spanish translation for my bestseller book, What You Think of Me Is None of My Business. It's a great book. You got to get it. But so she did the Spanish translation, and now she's also brought forth her shamanic work as a Mayan, and she used my book, What You Think of Me Is None of My Business, when she first got to America. The book just basically fell in her arms at the New York Library. She used it to teach herself English and to work her way up to as a clinical psychologist.
Wow.
And so I know, and enthusiasm. See, what happens is people give up feeling good because of something that went on in the outside. That doesn't actually really have anything to do with you. If people don't get that, that is a projection. That is a world, but these are objects and things. You're not an object. Your body is an object. Your spiritual body is not an object. It's eternal, and it's who you are, and it's a beauty. I'm telling you, it's a beauty.
So can I ask you, what did you do, like, for the people that are not experiencing enthusiasm, and people who are looking in their outer life and are seeing pain or memories that come up from bad things that happen?
Right.
You know, how did you? I mean, I think there's steps. You're talking about steps.
Absolutely, I have steps.
Following steps, but there must be some way that you found I think you're a passionate person, just from all the podcasts we've done so far. You had the access to that level of passion, but it didn't mean that you didn't have struggle and challenge in your life, like you've also shared.
All of them. Yes, are you kidding? I've struggled more. I've had I've been at death's door also, right then. And I remember one time, oh my God, we were at this party. This is years ago, and I was with the first husband, and this is to the real estate lady who had sold us the house. So we went to this place, and there was a piano, and some guy was kind of goofing with the piano. I said, I'll play a little bit maybe, and I kind of teased him, but I didn't mean to. I was just joking. But anyway, so when we're ready to leave the party, you had to walk up the driveway up to go. And so we're walking up the driveway. He has gone to his car, comes back with a rifle, and he's going to kill us because you rich people. Well, I irritated somebody. I went, But anyway, he's got this. He's threatening. So everybody runs up the hill. I went and hide behind the Volkswagen that's just right against the wall. This wall. And I'm down there. I could see his feet walking back and forth, and he's threatening. And his friend says, "Okay, anybody here? Because let me know if there's anybody back here and all that." So my husband says, "My wife's back there. Thanks a lot." Oh my God! Yeah, they're gonna shoot me. So I'm going to go, okay. And then the guy changes his mind and he walks down the hill, whatever they do. But anyway. I remember falling off a 2-story building into the alley. But this is when I used to drink wine. And I went and sat on the railing. Talk about stuff. And because I thought I couldn't, fell over into the alley. And luckily I hit the clothesline and it broke my fall, but I kind of bled a little bit and came back upstairs. But, oh my God, are you kidding?
Yeah, these are several near-death experiences, and I think part of the enthusiasm how it expresses through you, where another person would feel the pain of that, which I'm sure you did too.
Oh my God! But
you also
it's over.
You see, you have the ability to know that you're not whatever that was. You're like this expansive energy that can never die. I think you tap into that, which is why you can laugh about it. Mm-hmm.
Well, you can, because when you watch and you can look at how people are doing ridiculous things, really. Divine beings, God particles, whose bodies are the temple of the living God. That your body is a musical instrument. The bones of your body are the crystal network. The sinus cavities in the mind. That's why your voice actually is the voice that manifests the reality, because it's made of sound. You have to know who you are. You're sacred. And in this presence, you see this holy divine state of who we really are as precious. And that every little baby that even comes in here, if the parents, we meditated before and we were really loving and we were calling forth a soul that we could help to elevate, and in the sense we wouldn't even want to have children unless we could make them God realized, because they will keep going through the system because people don't know what it is, because it's not taught anywhere, except it is, but you have to find it. And then the first thing, you have to know how the mind works and what it's designed for, and that how words, we react to words like okay, I've been fortunate enough to be called every filthy word possible to be called. So I've been called the Antichrist. I've been called everything, or I've also become wonderful and loving and beautiful and fabulous and horrible. Everything. They're just words. Am I going to react to all those words that they have something to do with me when it's even coming from someone else? And if it was coming from me, is it coming from me, or is it coming from the mind? The mind that wants me to suffer. The mind is the greatest terrorist weapon ever invented until you control it, make it your friend, and now you're happy. My mind's happy. And if it's being bad, I tell it to basically be quiet. It can get me. If a thought takes me and I follow that thought and I let that thought go, and I've done that a couple times, watch where it goes. It doesn't go. It's not pretty. And that's why you don't fight with people. You don't need to fight with people. Don't fight this cause. Don't make the earth a better place. Make you a better person.
Yes.
Come on.
Yes. But
really grasp the opportunity. I know. It's wonderful. If we would just look.
It is wonderful. Many people don't know this. No, like you said, there aren't many people teaching this, talking this way, right? Because people think you have to fix broken relationships or endure things that aren't good for you, right? Yes,
or you had to, because they don't really, these are programs. And if you take a look at how does the mind work, it works on words. Why are children taught in preschool and before that how to spell? It's called spell casting, spelling.
From the get-go.
Numbers. Yes. And how does a computer run? It runs on words. It runs on numbers, symbols. These are symbols. See, and when we have symbols be bigger than us, it's just like, why would I count? Why would I do I'm not putting down astrology, because I think it tells you what when the machine spits you out, what your program is. Take it or leave it. Then that's not the end. That's what you came in with. You can do anything you want. Anything. As long as you're in harmony with the divine, you see. That means that you're there to bring love and joy and happiness and truth, which is who we are. Nothing's wrong with anybody. There's nothing. Nothing.
Yes.
But they'll argue, but it's wrong with them and wrong with them. Wait a minute. If you get above it, you guys are all playing the same game. You have to have sides or you have no game. You know the only way to win this game? Don't play. Rise above, watch it, stay in your heart, be who you are. Walk.
Right.
You are the light of the world. You are the light of the world. You are the sound of the world. It's not you as a little bit, it's who you're part of. Say, when you if you go to your purpose and your mission, and things will start coming to you of its own. Because your purpose is what whole. If it's care for animals, and that's your purpose and your mission and what you do, but your purpose should be God realized. You can't hang out with God if you don't have God consciousness. What do you think?
But it's true though. Also, like you have to be it to hang out with God, right? You have to get yourself there energetically. Yeah, that's
right. You got to do the work. You got to climb up the ladder. Don't just sit on the rung you're on and say, well, this is it, because I get my fudgesicle every day and I get to play my games and I get a little porn here and there and I go, oh, I'm just fixed. You nitwit. And people say, oh, you called somebody a nitwit. Well, you are. You are. Come on.
You said if the shoe fits, wear it. If the shoe fits,
right.
Wear it.
Yeah, that's it. If the shoe fits, wear it. Exactly. But it's that thing of not beating yourself up, but it's to grab yourself. Who else is going to do it for you, folks? Please tell me. And you're not going to die. You're going to keep going on, and you're going to and you don't. And if you don't know, and find out the most, and be ready. You see, because when you're ready, it's like you don't go anywhere anyway. You're always right there, right there, right there. That's not now. That's you being. And when they say, oh, be in the now, no, I'm not in the now. The now is in me. I'm not in it. That's atheism. It's in me.
Right. Yeah, it's vast. When I really listen to what you're saying, it is a vast, we are huge beings. Like we have an enormous capacity for consciousness and creation.
Yes. And nurturing. See, the thing is, it's also the mother, the woman, the creative. Some of my research, it was like 700,000 or 800,000 years ago. This insect or this virus or entity or whatever it's been that has influenced this place, is that the only way they could take it over is to eliminate the woman, because we're intuitive. We know. Come on.
Wow. Well, and you could see the attacks on the divine feminine for centuries, right?
Absolutely. But it is the mother. It's not being high heels and long hair and fingernail polish. That's not a woman. That's a mannequin in the department store. We're not that. That's not us. We're woman, man. Because I'm a woman, man. I'm there and I can do things, and I'm creative and I'm nurturing, and you had your babies and you had you're a mother. And you're a natural nourisher. That's why we're teachers. That's why we're mentors.
Right. Well, and I always feel, sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, well, I feel whenever I have tapped into the divine feminine, I don't know if we get to like just the parts of the brain, like the right brain is the divine feminine, it's connected to the divine feminine, it's connected to the heart, and the left brain is the mind, and it's much more in the ego's realm, and it has limits. It's a doer. And what I love about the divine feminine is that it is the part of us that is connected with the expansive infinite. It knows us through all time and all realms. The linear mind, the left brain, the masculine parts of ourselves can't conceive of that. And I think when you're talking about that's why they wanted
why?
Yeah. Why?
It's beyond conception. There are no conceptions for who we are. Feelings don't have conceptions. Compassion doesn't have conceptions. You see, there's no concept.
And it's the feminine parts of ourselves though that tap into that are that.
And the woman-bodied has more of it, given the nature of the function that is for that body. You have to look at what's the function. If you're going to build a house or anything, you look like form follows function. Why would I do that? Well, because that's what makes you have more of these. And even, this is pretty far out too, you really don't have all these lives. You don't really die. This is all that you had to play this game. You had to do certain things to get into it, to make it real. It's all about feelings. Everything's about feeling. Everything. I think I told you that. Was it last week I told about visualizing singing solo at the Los Angeles Music Center? Did I tell you that?
Yes, I think so. Yes.
Well, anything. If you people look at if you're going to visualize something, you're going to see something, you're going to do whatever. it's like you see yourself there in a sense, because it's a feeling. What is confidence? Isn't that a feeling? Confidence. Enthusiasm is an attitude. Because what happens when people get dejected, they're placing their faith in somebody or something outside themselves. If they're going to do something or give you something or make something, and it's going to then make you happy because you either have it to eat, and the hardest thing to control is the tongue with what we say and what we eat. Because also then, like with enthusiasm is a continual state. So you don't react then to good or bad news anymore, because I could say, isn't that horrible that you had such a horrible first marriage? And I go, no, because it got me to church. It got me to study, otherwise I'd probably be living in a condo in Beverly Hills with a poodle dog. I'm not nothing against poodle dogs, but and my best friends are the lawyer and the doctor. Oh yeah, that's gonna be my life? I don't think so. I'd rather be bungee jumping.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's too much in a box for Terry Cole-Whittaker.
Yeah, and I'm a builder, so you want to start to knowing what your nature is. Take a look at what you do, and I realize I build things. I would find like maybe old bicycles, and I could take them apart and make one good bike. Okay, I would always do stuff. That's my nature. And we're always trying to make ourselves wrong and say, well, I'm not like my brother, I'm not like my sister, I wasn't the smart one, and I'm not the talented one. Well, stop that. You can do anything you put your focus on, anything. And if it's in your heart and you really want to do it, then the enthusiasm, because then we're judging everything that happens. Not just about judging, forget, oh, I'm judging. You have to have discernment and know who to be with and who not to. But the whole thing of judging every moment, oh, that was bad, that was wrong. Not necessarily. Say you take a wrong turn as you're driving down the road. Now you have to go back. Well, there could have been an accident up there. Something, you were guided, you missed it. Come on. But we're always thinking of the mind. How can I make things happen? I'm not the doer. This is another thing that is very much more common with women, the feminine, and the mother. It's called divine magic. It's yard sale magic. It's shopping magic. It's the magic. Then you name it and claim it, it appears.
Wow.
Come on.
You're saying that comes from the woman, especially. You're saying.
Yes, because it's natural with the woman because of the functions that the woman would take to take care of the home, the children. She's the first guru of the children. And the husband was there. Husbandman means keeper of the vineyard, working in the garden, protecting the family, taking care. It's not like showbiz. The world has turned into a carnival. It's basically a theatrical performance with magicians, clowns, carnival people, freak shows, girly shows, snake oil salesmen, gypsies, anything, telling you fortune telling, No, there's a big difference, and you know that, as being an intuitive. You're not telling anybody's fortune, and you tell them what you're sensing and feeling within the person to help them get in touch with their own self. Of course.
Yes. It's not entertainment. Yes.
No.
Yes. No. Exactly. Exactly. That's so powerful, though, what you just described, because I think right there that those are some keys to the inner kingdom that a lot of people don't, because it is so distorted.
Kingdom. The inner kingdom is nice, and that's a feeling kingdom. It's not a bunch of jewels. Anybody ever see the movie The Jungle Book? Remember Rudyard Kipling?
Yes.
Well, what I always loved about that, and Mowgli, it showed the evil guys wanted all the jewels in that place, all the gold. And little Mowgli, he just knew what they were. He wasn't interested in that because he knew the way of the jungle.
Right.
He knew the way of nature. And it's like those things, it's like, yes, you need to have it in this world. It's set up because you got to play the money game. You got to do this. But that shouldn't be the motive. The motive has to be the good that you want to do. And yes, we play the money game, but it's not about how much you see. When you look at what is it, take a look at the poor fool who's thinks he's the king of England. You know, look at him. There he is standing with a crown on his head and all these little things all like, and these sticks in his hand. I'm the one. You nitwit.
That's a good word, nitwit.
This is a nitwit. But you're gonna have to change. I have to change my name, and you know why? Because when I do words, well, Terry means to hang out and don't move sometimes, and I've done that. I start and stop. So Terry's not good because that's programming. Cole-Whittaker, Cole-Whittaker. No thanks.
Oh, wow.
I'm no Terry Whittaker. So I do have a spiritual name, Champakalata, or you can call me Champu or Mother Champu.
Oh, I didn't know that. That is nice. How would you spell that,
nice?
Champu, the nickname? Is it
C-A-M-P-U? And it's short for Champakalata, which is the champak flower, which is the plumeria flower that's in Hawaii. Yeah, that's my name.
Beautiful.
A beautiful name. Mm-hmm.
Right, I know. That's when we participate more in our lives when we do. You know, the Native Americans did that whenever they had. I mean, that's what I read at least. When they would have a big growth spurt, something that changed the course of their life. They grew. They had, they expanded. Their name would change to reflect whatever it was that they just.
Because look at like right now. Okay, I've lived in beautiful places. I mean, I've lived in 5-star hotel, beautiful homes, beautiful places, restaurants, and I've lived in every kind of other possible way. I lived with my great grandmother who took birth in 1880, so she gave me her contract. I know how to live in 1880. I know my great grandmother. I know how to do that. You see, so it's like you have these things, and you begin to feel how rich you are in every way. And what happens is right now there's a lot of challenges for people, and what's going to we're in a building stage now. This is my job now. We're builders, and as I mentioned, my new Substack is I'm taking over the world, my own. And because that's the only one I have control over, and it can be whatever, because it is already, everybody's a manifester. They don't know. Everybody always is. You can't help it. It's your nature. It's who you are. That's why you're not trying to become more, just be who we are. That's more than enough for everything. And then we're builders. So then you get to look at what's your part. And there's 2 parts to Dharma. I call it Dharma. There's your that's your purpose is, for me, it's complete God realization and service to God. And so because that's my nature, that's who I am. And the other is, how can I help others be happy and prosper and have a wonderful, glorious, eternal existence? That's what I want for everybody. Exactly. So I'm not,
Yeah. Well, it's so beautiful because the feelings that your words like cascade into the conversation. That's where it's at. That's what I do. I'm a frequency writer. I'm a writer of frequency, which is another way of saying a writer of feelings.
I love it. Yes, right? What it is. Yes, it is. But our feelings can't be measured. Emotions can be measured because they're below the line. That means they shift from a God feeling to a reaction to words. A reaction to something happening in the outer. So now you leave the realm of feeling, because feeling is always enthused. Always. Souls never sleep.
It's its nature. It's its nature is to be enthused. Yeah, our nature is to be enthused.
That's it. That's who we are. It's innate. Anything that you bring forth or have in your life is already within you. See, that's what people don't know. In your state of being, all potential. Energy is either kinetic or potential. That means energy is operating, and you are the energy of the energetic of Source. Source is a complete, and it's divine energetic, but it's not like static of absolutes, not absolutes. The study of inanimate objects that have no feeling, because that's just, and that's what science, they're always doing. They're studying inanimate objects without feeling. Everything done. They're just studying things, little arrangements of molecules. Now let's look here. Every time you think and they add a new technology, it'll add another layer to the matrix. It keeps going because it's just thought forms. That's all it is. And then when people are allowing their thought forms to control who they are, and what you're doing is you're making yourself subservient to words and letters, symbols and sounds that you've been programmed and designed to remember and believe, that have programmed you with and with hypnotic trances down to your core level, where every person out there almost thinks they're not good enough. Nobody wants what they have. Nobody likes them. They're going to be abandoned.
Right. So it's so powerful what you're saying, and I'm thinking about people that I know, people I've had conversations with in recent days or even weeks or months. Mm-hmm. But people, I mean, it's the age-old question that people in the sea of humanity are asking: what's my purpose? What's my mission? And I've also watched people take an idea of something they're attracted to. It doesn't necessarily mean that it lights them up from the inside out, that they're totally enthused about it, because a lot of people get their purpose and mission, it like contorts, it binds around what their energy, what their gifts really are. Like, here's an example of what I'm saying. Some people will have something that they're good at or that they like, and they think that they can make money at that. And so,
well, you have to try, though. In one way, that's the problem. This is right. You're at the crux of the matter right here. Yeah. How do you survive? Because they maybe say, first of all, you don't need to survive. You are life. But then we're thinking, okay, you're in this world, and we're all set up to believe this is it. And then so everybody's struggling to try to, and they died. Oh, wait a minute. That was a rite of passage. They either failed in it or they succeeded. I mean, they either took another ride, and you do not know what you're going to get, but it's you how you have to train yourself. This is interesting, like this. Okay, one has to be. This is from the Srimad Bhagavatam. One becomes freed from whatever actions one refrains. You stop. This principle brings liberation for the human and frees that person from suffering, illusion, and fear. So you become freed from what you're not doing anymore. You become freed from what you're not thinking anymore. You become freed from what you're not. Don't argue. I listen to people say, he said, she said. Go go to coffee shops and listen to people talk. Same stuff, just different names. And he did this, and she did this, and that did this. Like I had this one person, sweet soul, I've been trying to work with for years, and we're working on it. But it's like it's so hard for her to get the idea that you have to feel good before you feel good.
Yes.
Yeah. You have to be there first. That's what the book I'm writing now is as one of them, but it's almost be there now, because nobody wants to be here. So where do you want to be? It's a state of mind, right? It's a feeling. Have the feeling now. You can feel good or you can feel bad. If you're feeling bad, who are you blaming? What are you trying to prove? Who are you? Who's scaring you? What are you falling into? This is a big time, full-time job, folks.
And that's kind of time travel. Like, people watch movies about time travel, but if you don't like where you are right now and what you're experiencing, travel through your feelings and your enthusiasm and just be somewhere else.
Absolutely. Yeah. The very energy that you're using to keep it holding, because you have to look at what are you proving. If you're trying to make a grudge, I have somebody I know is trying to grudge against me, and I realize when you take a look at people where we were naive. My problem was I built a 3-story apartment building in India with 12 singles and 4 single bedrooms. This was those were the other, and my place and the lot next door, and marble floors and furniture, but everything all got stolen from me. It was so. But the lady next door, they hung her. I know. Oh, that was my retirement. That was me. I was going there. So it took everything. But you know what? I'm still enthusiastic, because guess what? I'm fine. In this moment, I'm beautiful. So what? Oh, God. Well, I guess it's not mine now. Yeah, that.
Wow. And what I hope people
and it was all free and clear. There was no debt on it.
Jeez. You know, but isn't it, I hope people are listening to you, because when you share your fabulous, amazing, wild stories, and you actually lived all of that you are still like relentlessly enthusiastic about being you, right?
Yes.
They can't take that away from you. No,
nobody can. Don't give it to them. They want to take it because sad people want everybody to be sad. They don't understand. People who have envy, it shows they have been infected by a mind virus. Envy is not natural because when you know who you are, name it and claim it. There's no problem. See, it's not the law of attraction. The way they wrote it is wrong because it's another one. That's why they made it so popular. Your table isn't attracted to you. You're attracted to the table. So you focus and go get it. The attraction is we're attracted to the objects of our senses so we can enjoy them. Something to hear, taste, touch, feel, see, smell. And they're running after it everywhere. And once you have to be able to control your senses. See, when people leave the body, what will happen? Their senses are still there because they're in the subtle body. They have the same appetite, but they can't get no satisfaction because they do not have a physical body. Robert Monroe, I suggest people get his book, Far Journeys. Tells you a lot. And I studied with him. I did a whole week training there, out of the body travel and stuff, in the astral places, stuff like that. But anyway, interesting. Yeah. There's so much, people. You're so rich, and it's all within you, and it's all possible. You just have to reach out, ask us questions, find out, where do I go? Who do I watch? What do I do? You know, we'll tell you. Marie will tell you. I'll tell you, whatever. Yes, we'll give you what we have. Yeah.
And you have to be engaged. It's not happened that often, but of course I've had some people reach out for coaching or whatever with me.
Yeah.
And it's more rare because I think I really attract a vibrational match, an energetic match to what I offer most of the time. But I will get some people who, it's almost like there are a few people who do eke in there that they want what they see I'm having, like you, Dr. Terry. People can want what they hear you having with enthusiasm and how you embrace your life. And yet I've had some people show up where they're the naysayer, they're the negative. They sign up, they want the sessions, and yet all they want to do is, be a rock and not move, not make any movement. And you can't really work with that. I'm not here to convince people that they want a good, happy, rich life. Yeah.
No. Because so you just basically agree with them. Oh, okay. Because you know what, it works sometimes too, but there are actually some people you can't have to tell them you basically can't work with them, or you just say something nice because they have a reason. They've got a blockage, and they may want it. But what happens is they have some hypnotic trance or some programming, or they're really afraid of something. Just like okay, I have memory of being Hypatia, and there is a movie about this as a Gnostic. My body goes back when I even say it. Once you get the knowledge and things, you have it. You have full memory. People say, "Oh, I don't even remember my childhood." It's because you don't want to. And whatever that means, or you weren't there, or there was other stuff going on, but you want to get your memory back of who you are and what your message is. And also, as an Atlantean survivor, what happened there, what's happening here, we're taking people out into basic deep levels of the abyss. So that they're so forgetful of who they are, they have no recollection at all of us being a soul. We'll just go through these little machines, like just be a cog in a machine, just like they are now. And so because they want to be comfortable, because they're afraid of this and they're afraid of that, and they don't do the work, and then they're talking and they're watching TV or movies, and these are all predictive programming, all of it. The education system, the government, the science, everything. And when you start to take your soul back, a lot of times there's not a lot of people to relate to because they don't have one. It's gone. It's gone.
Right.
And we're fishing for people. Anybody who's got some slight, even compassion for an animal or a human, some kind of feeling, you still have a soul. Fan the flame. Fan the flame.
Yes.
Come back. Yes. Come home. Mm-hmm.
You talk about that. Where you talk about enthusiasm can happen the moment you hear your very dance song of all time. Like when you're talking about fanning the flame, you can borrow from good feeling things that fan your flame, right?
Yes. I had to watch Little Debbie Reynolds in The Unsinkable Molly Brown probably 25 times at one part in my life. I tell you, I was so far down, and this was after the ministry and everything, just stuff because I hadn't gotten hold of this truth yet, the teaching yet. I was still without it. And it started coming with different people. Okay, you have to.
Yes. You found a way to fan your flame, and people.
That's right.
And fanning the flame can be reaching out to Dr. Terry for a coaching session. It can be reaching out to me. It can be putting on music. It can be taking a walk in nature. But do it. If you can
watch
feel
my YouTube
that,
videos. Yeah, watch my YouTube videos. There are tons of them. Michael keeps putting up more, and those are beautiful. Nobody has to suffer out there, but you have to do something. Everybody, if you don't take the action, and as you do each step, and I know it's a challenge, and I know it's hard. Look at it, face it, deal with it, and make it be what it really is instead of making it bigger than you, because you want to align with who is bigger than you and what is bigger than you. And that's the divine that you're part of and who is right there with you right now. You're not separate. You're an individual, and you'll always be that. But yeah. Oh, my goodness.
That's so
enthusiasm.
The enthusiasm, it's a gift. It's a gift from God, just like grace. Grace and enthusiasm are divine. They're divine.
Yes, they are.
And it's powerful what we're talking about. We may need to, at some point, come back and have another conversation, because I think a lot of people, we hear about enthusiasm, people see it in other people. Sometimes they feel it, but it's transient. And when they lose it, or they think they lose it, you can't lose something that's you. It just can kind of go dormant, or you can feel so low vibrationally or energetically that you feel like you've lost sight of it. But it's still in there. So I want to say two things.
They have to play. They have to play. Just one thing, because you have to be a player. When I go out in the world, I want to bring joy to people. I have to be careful I'm not obnoxious, because I could have that tendency being here. So anyway, I know. So I have to control myself.
You crack me up. I look forward to a day where I could go out, with you and bring that joy to people, because you crack me up. Just you being you makes me happy, Terry.
Yay! Because that's good. That's what I want. I want to make people. I want to have people be happy. Yeah, happy and prosperous.
Right. Happy and prosperous. But so let me ask. So in the negative and the positive, right? In the polarity, what can kill enthusiasm, or what can bring us to these low places? You talk about doubt. It comes up in many of your articles, many of your posts, and I see it too. I love my passion, my purpose, the work that I do, the creativity that I have, and I see a lot of people seeing what I have, but then they ask me questions, but they're coming from a place of pain. And largely, I think, because there's seeds of doubt in them, and the doubt prevents them from entering this place of enthusiasm too.
Yes, it does. The doubt keeps you out of the kingdom of the divine, like you were mentioning, because it isn't the stuff. We all think it's all this stuff. Well, you need some stuff. You need to hear. But when you get that, when you get the supreme source as your where you come from, where you are, there's nothing to worry about. Because and when you take it in the moment, in gratitude, filling up with just grateful for everything, for being with you. People are not grateful. I'm not grateful, so they're not. This isn't good enough. My house isn't good enough. The neighbors are better. The mind is relentlessly telling them they're a loser. So what you have to do is you have to start watching your mind and look at what your mind does. That's a basic step. And then if not, I can send you articles. Marie could talk to you. It's out there. The books will tell you. But it's like you've got to do it yourself. You've got to grab it and say yes. See, my thing is, I do the divine experiment. I just want to find out what happened. That's it. Why not?
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And you maintain that kind of joyful curiosity. That's
exactly.
another way. Right, exactly. You fan the flame of the curiosity and that leads you to engage with people and to spread joy.
So you take joy in little things. It was just like today I was doing some stuff and the guy out, he was like visiting with him, and he was going to go to some drug and alcohol rehab thing. He was telling how he had to because all these things. But he had the nicest dog, little Betty. Oh, God, was she sweet. And he just loved Betty. And Betty was so well-mannered. And the other lady I saw had one of those little pocket dogs. And then she had, oh, my God. I mean, how could you not? And you see a little kid in their little face, and you see somebody else. You can see you see sweetness. And I remember going to the airport years ago when you could go in, wait for people. I was waiting for my sister to come off the plane. And the people that were coming to be there the people they hadn't seen for years, just in that moment, my God, I remember being in Thailand, and I went to where they have a gold Buddha. He's about 4 or 5 feet tall, solid gold holds feeling and energy. And I stood in front of it. I got the whole hit, came back and hit me of the love that all these people have been pouring into the Buddha. You see,
wow.
It's like when you're receptive. And when I was at a Buddhist temple in Kathmandu, and I was in the hiding in the curtains behind, and there were all these Buddhists in all their garb and their dorjis and chanting Om Mani Padme Om. And they got to the end of the whole prayer. Then they start hitting the drums and the whistles and the horns. All their stuff got me in the chest. I got the whole vibe. I got it. It came to me. Well, I don't know. Wow. I was saying, hide me out. But see, when you're out there and you explain, this is when the goodies start, folks.
Yes, I know. And the magic happens and synchronicities increase. And the marvel of this world starts to touch your life in incredible ways and daily. All the time, it can become your experience. And we all dip into low moments. We all have things in this realm. They will take us, they will invite us out of that beautiful state. And sometimes we'll entertain that for a little bit. But you can, again, fan the flame of the enthusiasm of the creative being that you are and lead yourself. That's where Color the Magic, this channel that I share it on YouTube, and also Whole Soul School and Foundation, but that's where the Color the Magic came from, because I was so low, I didn't think I could come back from where I was. And when I was that low, my higher self and my inner self and my guides were saying, just color some magic, color the magic back into your life. And I didn't know what it meant, but you start to figure it out because you try things. You try what's going to color the magic. For me, it literally meant get a colored pencil out and start doing some illustrations.
Oh, it is. It really is. And even when you underline your books, do it in color. Make it fun. People don't know. And even if you go to work, make it a game. Not a game, a bad game, but play it. Play it. It's like life is like a piano. It's how you play it. Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
And
it's
you
so
are
good.
life.
And we are life. And it's such a joy to talk with you, Terry, because more people want to feel this way, and they've just lost their way, right? The more we keep sharing, Come
on, folks. We want you. We love you. Come on. We're working for you.
Right? Yeah, and we'll keep saying, hang out with us.
We can go do our good and just go hang out, the two of us and a few other people we like. Not going to talk to anybody else. We're going to keep all the good to ourselves. So we're sharing it. Come on.
We are sharing it. Exactly. This is where people can join, like the feeling and the energy of joy, and seeing you and I, we can move in the waves of energy that life is, and we'll always turn to joy. When I saw some of your videos and a friend told me about you, and I saw your books, I bought your books, and I knew I wanted to hang out with that. That's what I know.
Oh, it's so neat, Marie. Oh, I'm so glad you did. Because I like hanging out with you, too. I know.
Me too. Well, we have one more step to talk about. We'll come back next month and we'll talk about the 8th step. And we're going to keep creating. We're going to meet and talk off the recording to see what magic we want to create together. But we're going to keep going.
That's
people who like these vibrations, these energies, and these messages, stick around, because we're going to keep them coming.
Yes, we are, because this is us. We got to do it. We got to boogie. Yes.
We got to do it. We got to boogie. Well, on that note, thank you, Dr. Terry. Love you so much. Thank you.
I love you, Marie. Oh, you're the best, my sweetie. You're such an inspiration. I love you. I love all you people out there too.
I know. Everybody, let's stay in the enthusiasm, and we'll talk to everybody soon. So have a great day, Terry.
Yes. Thank you, darling. You too.